Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, what I'm going to talk about in this video, I'm going to talk about the Nicola Bulley case, which can you believe it's been 3 years since Nicola Bulley went missing, almost a couple of days more. And this is Jason Rothwell, who is the medium who found her body floating down the River Wire a few weeks later after her disappearance. Nobody else had been able to find her. The police, lots of dive teams, etc. And poor Nicola, um, whatever you believe happened to Nicola, eventually her body was found in the River Wire by this man, Jason Rothwell. Now, Jason is a medium. He's experienced a lot of hate because of that case. A lot of people don't believe him, his account, etc. Now, in previous videos, I've talked about um, the first, so he's finally coming out and talking now about how he came to find Nicola that day. We've read out in my previous video, I read out 3 blogs that he talked about how it came that he went searching for Nicola that particular day, and how it all came about. What I'm going to read out for you today, and also look at some other bits and pieces about this case. I'm not going to go through the ins and outs of the case. I'm not even going to really do a recap, because I would presume if you're watching this video, you know this case and you know the sort of situation around it. If not, I'm going to link in the description to my playlist, so then you will know about all the things that happened in this case. So yeah, this is Nicola. She, a 45-year-old woman, took her dog for a walk after dropping her 2 little girls off at school and disappeared. And then a couple of weeks later, she was found in the river, round about here, I believe, by the medium, Jason Rothwell, who, as I say in previous videos where I've talked about the blog posts he made, explains how he came to be there that day to find her. So we're not going to be talking about that so much in this video. Here's Nicola with her partner Paul, with a glass of wine in her hand. Of course, there was a lot of controversy when people were saying that she had a problem with alcohol and she had menopausal problems and this, that, and the other. And, all the photos of Nicola, she has got a glass in her hand, or often, or she's going to a party, or but then isn't that just a normal lifestyle for a woman of her age? She had a good career, he had a good career, so it seems like financially they were okay. They had 2 little girls. They went out, they partied, they did all these kind of things. I don't think that's really a bad thing, but it's something that was sort of made a big issue of, with her saying that she had alcohol problems and menopausal problems. Anyway, as I say, I'm not going to go into all this in this video. This is Nicola with her partner. This is in the church nearby where they lived. Here's Nicola with her partner again. Paul got a lot of criticism. Maybe some of it was warranted. I don't know, because I don't actually know him, obviously. I don't know what their relationship was. There's a lot of speculation about it. But, Paul's main problems came when he tried to give interviews and things at the beginning. Maybe he shouldn't have, and then he relied on Peter Folding and the things that Peter Folding said, that she definitely wasn't in the river, etc. The phone was a decoy, and I think Paul, that's why the family got so angry with Peter Folding in the end, is because, the rubbish that he spoke, really. But anyway, never mind, we're not here to talk about that either. So what I'm going to do in this video, I want to talk about the final blog about Nicola. Well, I say final, the final so far. because he may come on and make other blog posts, mightn't he? You know, there's nothing to say that he won't. What have I done with his posts? Sorry. Right, let me just find it again. Yeah, the last post that he's made is this one. And it's called The Unbreakable Vow. So as I say, if you want to know what his first 3 posts were, they're in my previous video. But this is the last one so far that he's made. I mean, he may come on and make... so he's created a blog on the site Medium. And he's talked about, finally, what led him to go and look for Nicola. These are in the previous blogs. How the whole thing came about, that he ever even was there that day looking for Nicola in the river, and he felt strongly that he was going to find her. But this final blog is what he's saying. You know, it's like his afterthoughts, if you like, about it. You know, it's that picture, the Unbreakable. I mean, do you know what? Believing in mediums or not believing in, that's a personal choice. Believing, then, if you believe in mediums, then believing whether Jason's a genuine medium or whether he isn't, that's another personal choice. If you don't believe in it, you don't believe in it, and that's fair enough, you know. Just one thing I would say is, when you make comments on this video, which people probably will, please don't be rude or disrespectful. I feel that Jason's just saying, you know, he's just giving his version of everything. And to me, if you want people to know the truth about what you think or about what really happened, it's better to do it yourself rather than rely on other people to tell your story for you. So this is what he says. I had thought, when I wrote part 3 of She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, that would be that, and I would feel like I had said all I needed to. But it would seem that's not so. There's one last part, and that is what's happened after. Now, let me just see, am I sharing it? I hope I'm sharing it okay. I think I am. Forgot to add that to the stage. Oh, there you go. There you go. I wasn't sharing it, but I am now. So let me just show you again this picture. So before I begin, what a coincidence is it? Today's the anniversary of Hudson's death. That was his dog. You'll see that if you look at the other post. Tomorrow is the first church of the year I will actually serve for the Spirit, and that is Lancaster Church, some 20 minutes drive from St. Michael's, 10 minutes walk from the police station we were taken to that day. To get back to my point in writing, I do not mean the aftermath in terms of Tik-Tok trolls and YouTube cramps. I hope it doesn't include me in that. I've never said anything bad against him. Although genuinely, the months after Nicola's finding, I truly witnessed some of the most disgusting and hurtful parts of human nature. I was shown the madness the modern world has given birth to. Conspiracy theorists believing I had been part of a dozen different theories, from satanic cults and human sacrifice to Masonic connections and cover-ups. And I have to confess 2 things. One being that some of these theories are so well researched and explained in such convincing details, I even question my own mind. The sad truth is, no matter what you say, people today can explain it all away. We as a society have genuinely lost our minds. I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think, because I think with the internet, there are a lot of bad things. And there, if you watch my channel regularly, I don't like conspiracy theories in general. I don't, I try and look at the facts of things, but sometimes there are things that are unexplained. I mean, Jason being a medium, his talents, if you like, his gift is unexplained in the logical world, in the rational world. And then along came the internet, and it's made some things easier. It's made us all easier to talk to each other, and it's brought very good things, the internet. I don't think we should lose sight of that. It's brought some evil things. Of course, people like pedophiles and stuff like that, they have been able to reach out to each other. But also people who do need other people, of like minds, whether it be of a bad thing like pedophilia, or it could be a good thing like, support groups and things like that. So it's not all bad. I honestly 100% believe that the internet is not all bad. It's just some of it is bad. But I do think trolling is bad. Anyone who exposes themselves on social media one way or another will be trolled, because not everybody will like you, and it's how you deal with it. And to be fair, with Jason too, I don't think Jason profited from his connection with Nicola at all, because I think, if anything, I remember at the time Jason was saying he didn't want to do readings and things like that, and probably he could have made a bloody fortune after he found Nicola in doing readings from people. But at the end of the day, like I've said in previous videos, he's a medium. That's what he does. He has to earn money. You have to pay your electric bill, you have to pay your water bill, you have to buy your food. Whether you're a medium, a teacher, an engineer, or whatever you are, and if that's what he does for a living, why shouldn't he get paid for it? I honestly don't understand why people have a problem with that. Because to me, being a medium is a gift, just like singing or playing the guitar. And people don't seem to mind if those sort of, if people have a gift of being able to sing or play the guitar, play the piano, do whatever. People don't seem to mind them being paid, but they seem to have a thing about mediums being paid. But it's just a gift, just the same. It's anyway. That's my opinion on it. There are, and there are good mediums, there are bad mediums. It's like there are good fortune tellers and bad fortune tellers. There are good electricians and bad electricians. To me, I've never had a reading from Jason, so I don't know if Jason is a good medium or not, what I would call a good one. But all I know, over the years, I have been to see quite a few mediums, and some I thought were brilliant, have come out with actual names. I've had people come out with my brother's name or my grandmother's name, or said to me things about my dad that only my dad would know. So, and I've also been to a couple of mediums that were absolute crap, but, I just knew I didn't have a clue really. They were just trying to fish for a bit of information. So what you think of Jason or don't think of him, that's up to you. But just be aware that he is a real person, whatever, and he's obviously been affected by all the hate he's received over these 3 years. So the other thing is that the woman that he went off, Marie, the woman he went with, Marie, to look for Nicola and found Nicola, who was his friend, his good friend at the time, they seem to have sort of drifted away from each other, which is what happens sometimes with friendships for whatever reason. So he says here, the second part being that whilst Marie and I drifted away, and she found a new travelling companion. I truly plunged into one of the worst mental health episodes I've ever experienced. And with the relentless social media pressure, how I didn't kill myself is a testament of my own willpower. And that made me cry when I read that because, you know, all the hate, and of course homophobia is received. He was beaten up at some point. Nobody deserves all that. He hasn't done anything terrible to anybody, doesn't deserve it. So there's still a lot of emotion there about how difficult it was. Finding a body was nowhere near as traumatic as the crushing burden of social media. I recall Marie coming back from her first visit to Glastonbury, explaining how she felt she was the lesser member of a two-part team and the main character, me, was missing since everyone in the circle she had been moving in knew who we were. Seeing yourself dissected, your character torn to shreds, and the relentless messaging of people trying to trip you up, despite you telling the truth from the start, is hard. Even during the recording of the BBC documentary, I had to bat away attempts by the crew to lure me into claiming I was some sort of messiah specially chosen. So the reason I write this now is because where for Marie the world went on in a form of normality, for me the story did not end there. It wasn't finished. It still isn't really. This is being written perhaps with a hope to finish it for me. Now I want you to take good notice of this, what he says. Because he is a medium. He did find Nicola, whatever, whatever you think of him, don't think of him. He's the one who found her. Nobody else found her. And he says, do I believe Nicola slipped and fell? No. Do I believe she took her own life? No. Do I believe there is more to it? Indeed, I do. And in the days after, I made a vow to the Spirit, an unbreakable vow. If I should ever speak words other than those which she wishes me to speak, to whom they are meant to be spoken to, then take my eyes and take my sight. Let the spirits never speak to me again if I ever break this vow. It's quite dramatic, isn't it? I refuse to speak of my thoughts related to her death until one day, by chance, a lady booked a reading with me. I didn't know her. I had never met her or heard of her. Indeed, none of those Nikki enthusiasts have ever heard of her. She lives in another country on the opposite side of the globe. When we sat down for our appointment, suddenly Nikki appeared and said, this is the woman to tell my story to. I don't know who this woman is, by the way. It turned out she was one of Nikki's best friends. And I told her everything I had seen and the names I had been told to mention. I cannot stress enough how terrified I was to tell this tale. I cannot put into words how much the Spirit means to me. I cannot explain my deep and profound love for my God, my calling, my connection to the other world. The very idea that I could break my vow and lose my sight truly terrified me. But she said so clearly, this is who you can tell. So going back to my earlier piece, I said, though perhaps it escaped people's notice, the vision I had been given, showing Nicola walking through the field and bumping into a person, and there was only one sentence spoken that I could hear. What are you doing here? This is incredible, really, when you think about it. So she said to the person, "What are you doing here?" According to Jason, now this is not, there's no CCTV showing this. So what Jason is saying, let's have this straight. Jason is saying that Nikki said to the person, whoever it was, "What are you doing here?" This is what he's saying, okay? Those words explain one thing, one simple sentence said to me so much. Whoever these words were spoken to, she knew them. The trouble is, in the image I was given, I could not see who it was, and for fear of legal repercussions and out of genuine respect, I won't go further. So who do you think that is? Who is that Nick is saying, "What are you doing here," do you think? In this reading, I honestly gave one of the most powerful readings I have ever given. Because my sitter said she had written down 3 names on a piece of paper, and she asked me if I could tell her which one to follow up, even if just the initials. I didn't just tell her the names she had written down. I told her in what order they had been written. Now you may say, anyone could say the names on this paper. The Nicola enthusiasts have many names, they would say. These 3 names were none of those, because they are known only to those who knew Nikki personally, and they are 3 names that are unknown to anyone on social media. So again, don't forget, I'm not saying this, Jason is saying this. I don't know who these 3 names are. Who do you think they might be? Further to that, I told the sitter in 21 days' time, you will hear everything I have said here again. In 21 days, Nikki will come to you and tell you all of this again. And she did, because what my sitter had forgotten was that she had arranged a sitting with another world-class medium, more than a year earlier, and it was scheduled to take place 21 days after our own meeting. Consider the intelligence of the spirit. This sitting on the 21st day had been arranged more than a year earlier, and sure enough, every single word I said and more was spoken. A meeting in dreams. I was then approached by another person, someone whom also knew Nikki personally, and whom had, the night before her finding, been visited by her in a dream. They asked to meet me, and so I arranged to meet them one evening at a spiritualist church, local to them, where I know the committee very well, and who were willing to let us meet in private there. Would you believe, when we met, the first thing they said to me, my partner's grandparents used to live in the building next door. What are the chances? There are any number of churches I could have chosen, at least a half dozen, but I chose the one built literally right next to where their spouse's grandparents used to live, so close that the buildings share a wall. They explained to me how they had seen her stood in her living room. They asked her where she was, and suddenly she was weeping, and as they said, they knew that meant she was dead. She took them to the riverside, and they knew at that moment she would be found the next day, and she even showed them where. They had suggested they would go and find her themselves, but her spirit had told them not to bother because I was coming. That was before she took them up onto the moorland above Manchester and Oldham, and made them aware one day they would need to meet me, And more importantly, they needed to explain to me what she had shown them. I only wish that she had shown me that dream, because unfortunately, regardless of how in-depth they explained where she had taken them, I have yet to find that place, which I know will be so important. We talked at length, and they discussed things they knew. I told them what I thought I knew, although I tried perhaps to be cautious in what I said. Although a few days later I reached out to someone else and asked if I could speak to them. Again Nikki came, and again I told them what I knew and who I thought they needed to speak to, because to my mind this one person knew more than perhaps even they realized. I wasn't accusing them of committing a crime, but I was insistent that they knew things that needed to be said. I'm not trying to big myself up here when I say the evidence of connection was so strong that the person contacted the police to inquire if there was any chance that what I had said held any truth. The police, I assume, said there was no chance at all, and after a brief conversation with both of them afterwards, my contact with them was ended. I was blocked from their social media accounts and I've never spoken to them again. I will say I absolutely don't begrudge them that. I see the sense in it, and it was probably the right thing to do. You don't want a psychic disturbing your peace, etc., with things the police can't prove or won't try to. Gosh, I wonder who that was. I will leave this here now, because to go further and explain my thoughts in their entirety would go further than I want to. It would say more than I need to. It would take us down rabbit holes and into something more akin to the stories, Arthur Conan Doyle or Agatha Christie, and I have no desire to play Columbo or Jessica Fletcher. A day will come, a time, a scenario, words spoken and things carelessly said, that may change the whole story to something more akin to the truth, if in many ways it will seem more unpalatable and possibly less plausible than a simple thought. I wonder if I can clap that. Don't know if I can, because you have to sign up. I will sign up at some point and follow that event. Yeah, you've got to sign up. I will. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't profess to know what happened to Nikki. I just don't know, because I wasn't there. But my gut tells me something more than a simple accident is what happened. But you know what? That's just a feeling that I have. Let me know what you think. Of course, maybe members this week will have like a discussion group or something. I don't know. I just, this part of me doesn't like to keep talking about Nicola, because I don't want to disrespect her family, and then there's another part of me that thinks there is more to this case and it needs talking about. Oh, something else I just wanted to show you, because somebody, let's see. Sorry, do you know why I'm laughing? Because, I have always set up things before streams and then they disappear, and I just don't know why. That is the God's only honest truth. I have no clue why things just disappear. you know, when I've got them set up and then they're gone. But anyway, never mind. I find it in my history. So, somebody had, you know, it's from Chris Substack that I got to know about Jason's blog, and somebody on there put a comment on his blog with a TikTok video from someone who goes, what can we say, metal detecting in the wire, and it was very interesting. What they said they found in the river wire is nothing to do with the Nicola Bulley case, to be fair. You know, this person who made a comment, why can't I find it? Oh, let me see. The person who put the comment on here, let's have a look if I can find it. They'd seen this TikTok video. Oh, is it gone now? Oh, yeah, let's see. So, yeah, apparently, now whether this is genuine or not, because, you know, it always comes down to that, doesn't it? Oh, the video's gone. It's gone. Hang on. Now, I don't know if I think I recorded it, but I'm not sure. Where would I have recorded it? Let's have a look. Oh, I might have lost it. Yeah, it was a TikTok video that was supposed to be. It's very worrying, isn't it? In the why has it been taken down? It's, oh. Yeah, it's unavailable, which is a bit strange in itself, because why would it be unavailable? So let me just tell you what it was. It's probably a load of bollocks then. Was a video supposedly somebody doing a metal detector thing in the River Wire and came up with a dog tag that said Willow on it. It's probably a load of rubbish, isn't it? So now the video's unavailable. Somebody apparently made a comment and saying, "Oh, I think what's it? Whoever posted that video is a sick individual. A gameplay, the dog tag is fake. Nothing like Willow's original silver coloured one." So, yeah, it probably is a load of crap. Yeah. See, what is this all about in the Nicola Bulley case? Why? So this apparently was Northwest Metal Finder. So apparently they've come on here and said, oh, sorry. So apparently somebody, this person, this sort of smacks of Sam to me. Anyway, never mind. No comment. No comment. But in fact, I'm not even going to talk about it because it's probably a load of crap just to get them more things. So let's forget that. So yeah. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of Jason. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God always go with you. And yeah, justice for Nicola. I hope one day, if it was foul play involved in Nicola's death, let's hope to God that one day it gets sort of revealed. So thank you. Please like, please subscribe, and thank you for all of you for being members, those of you who send me coffees, etc. Thank you.